Hello everyone, good evening. Let's wait a few more moments. In the meantime, I'm going to thank you for watching this live, for participating, if you participate. Thank you, Bridges of Light International, and thank you, Live. And today we are going to be talking about yin and yang and harmony of opposites. Hey, hello Matilda, how are you? It's great seeing you here. I always like watching at your posts and your picture where you live. It's beautiful, it's absolutely amazing. Tonight, I want to talk about yin and yang because when we understand their meanings, it helps us to live in harmony with ourselves and with life. And for yin and yang, I am referring to this. Hey, hello Evelyn, how are you? Have you ever seen this symbol? I guess you have. You see the white in the black and the black in the white. Now let me tell you where it comes from, what it means, and then I'm gonna demonstrate to you these different energies in action. Actually, I'm gonna do a little experiment for you. But from now on, as always, please share, ask questions. Evelyn, I don't know if you're just passing by or if you're here to stay. If you want at any point, now or later, pop in and say hello. You're always welcome, you know that. And let's start to get into it. Hey, hello Mariella, welcome, good evening. Now, the yin and the yang was invented, so to speak, this symbol in China by Chinese people. And originally, apparently, the representation of it was the following. It was a scene of a countryside in winter. It was humid, it was cold, it was rainy or snowing. I haven't seen it, but I read the story about it. So a wintry, cold and humid place. And that was the yin, okay? This one, the black. And the yang was represented by the same picture, the same country scenery, but summery, okay? Everything was green, there was lots of sunlight, everything was flourishing, okay? So you see, this is another representation. This is like night, you see? And this is bright day. So, yin and yang are two different energies. The yin is the feminine energy, okay? It's quieter, it's darker. The yang is the masculine energy, okay? It's more direct. And either of them, they're not either good or bad. Hello, Julia. They're simply two polarities. Okay, they are, and they represent the negative and the feminine, the negative and the positive, as in positive and negative, but as polarity, as magnetic polarities, like feminine and masculine, meaning two energy, two sides of the same coin, of the same thing. Okay, in fact, we wouldn't have life if we didn't have a feminine energy and a masculine energy. another analogy would be, and by the way, one thing which is important to keep in mind is that the black dot, one of the energy, the dot of one of the energy is right in the middle where the other energy is at its highest. Can you see that? And hello, Gianna. And an analogy to have you understand what this means is that it means that these two energy cannot exist without the others, okay? And when one of them is at its peak, it's going then to transform and become the other energy. I'll give you a visual example. Imagine, okay, this hand, imagine my hand is a shore, okay, in the sea. And this other hand is a wave, okay? Now, like we said before, the yin energy is the feminine, it creates feminine energy is like desire, okay? It creates a void. It attracts things, so to speak, to it. And I'll show you later visually what I mean. The yang energy, it's the masculine energy. It pushes, okay? It's like willpower. Imagine a wave that goes up on the shore, and when it goes up, which energy would it be? It's yang energy, okay? It's masculine energy that pushes, okay? And when it gets to the top of it, meaning when it's at its peak, it starts going down and it becomes yin energy. It becomes feminine. Can you visualize the waves that goes back? And it goes back expressing yin energy until it exhausts all the yin energy, and the yang energy takes over again and pushes the waves up. Could you visualize that? Hello, Walter, welcome. So this is the ebb and flow of life, okay? The yin energy goes back and then it becomes yang energy takes over and it pushes up, and then it goes back and it pushes up. And this is the energy of life, okay? Life, in a way, it's created and sustained by this ebb and flow of energy, by masculine and feminine energy, okay? And this is very helpful for us to know because it can help us to see everything in a larger context and to be able to not to fix in only one characteristic of any situation, which we may label as being, let's say, good or bad or right and wrong. But it helps us to understand that good, bad, right and wrong could not exist if its opposite didn't exist. In other words, to know that I am generous, I have to know myself as not being generous. So I can only be generous when I have been, or if I know what it means to be stingy, to not be generous. So everything is complemented by its opposite and could not exist if its opposite wouldn't exist. And now I'm going to give you a visual demonstration of the yin energy and the yang energy. Let me set everything up. Okay. Hello, Dennis. Right. Oh, I can stay here. Let me just move this so you can see the surface. There we go. Okay. Can you see this surface? Surface there? Yeah. Okay. Now, we put this little cylinder here, okay? Now, yin and yang energy, yin and yang energy, there are two different kind of energy. Now I'll show you the yang energy, which is the directive one, is like the will force, is the masculine energy, okay? Because yang energy is like this, and yin energy is like this. Yin is feminine, this is yin, and this is yang, okay? Can you see? It's almost as if they were having sex, because this is how life is created, by having sex. There's feminine, which is a void, it receives, and there's masculine energy, which penetrates, okay? Now, to move this cylinder, I can do it in either way. I could be using yin energy or yang energy. First, I'm going to show you how I move it using yang energy. Hello, Natasha. Welcome. Using yang energy, which is the masculine, the directive one. And this is how I do it. Look. Can you see that? I literally apply force on whatever I want to move. You see, I want to move the object, and this is yang energy in action. You see? Hello, Shane. So I want to change, let's say, a situation. What do? I am direct, and I use force, energy, power on the situation to change it, to shift it. Now, I can have this cylinder to move in a totally different way. It is going to move, and I'm going to use yin energy, the feminine energy, by creating a void, and that will allow the cylinder to move. And look how it works. Can you see that? I didn't touch the cylinder, but it moved. This is the power of yin energy, the feminine energy. Let me show you again. Can you see it? Let me know if you see it and if it's clear to you. Nobody say, I don't know if you understand. Okay, can you see that? Okay, now I'm gonna use yin energy, the feminine one. Can you see? I can have the cylinder to move by not touching it, by moving the pillow and creating a void. Okay, this is the power of yin energy, the feminine. This is the power of yang energy. By literally applying force to whatever I want to move and shift. Okay, I hope I was clear enough. So, what is that telling us? Now we're going to see, oh gosh, what am I doing? Okay, let me see. Yeah, now we are going to see, to reflect on how this information can allow us to get more clarity over the way we live, okay? The awareness that we can gain out of this. Now, yang energy, the masculine one, like we say, is directive. Is when someone tells you, you know, Shane, for example, you have to do this, that, and the other, okay? It's like the masculine energy. It's like the father that tells you what to do. The yin energy, it's more sophisticated, so to speak. It's female energy. It doesn't actually tell you what to do, but hello, Isabella, it creates a space because you do it. It's more persuasive, so to speak. And yin energy, the feminine one, is very much used in advertising. In fact, for example, when car sellers advertise cars, not all of them, but some of them, have you ever noticed how they place beautiful girls around the car, or maybe just one beautiful girl, striking girl, right next to the car? And you know why that is? Or maybe, or it's about, in Italy we have advertising about pasta, barilla. What they do, they, with the pasta, they show, hello Lola, a image of a beautiful, harmonious family. So the subconscious message is, if you want to, in the case of car sellers, attract a beautiful girl or be seen as a beautiful girl, buy this car. Or if you want to have a beautiful family, buy this kind of pasta. But how do they do it? They do it by creating a void in ourselves, meaning the watcher feels in a way that something is lacking, and he could get something if he buys that car, which is not just the car or the pasta, because with the product, he's gonna be feeling a inner void, which is like, oh, I'm gonna look cool, or my family relationship is gonna improve. Do I make sense? Hello, Andrea. So if what I'm telling you, it makes any sense, let me know. And what I would like you to do is to share an example, or even more than one example, of when you have seen or used yin and yang energy in your life. So if you could give us an example. Hello, Stella. And while you think of an experience to share, or if you have any questions to ask them, I would like us to reflect on something. The utility of having a visual about, let's say, the good and the bad, the masculine, hello Shamsa, and the feminine, and the drop of both of the opposite in either of them, is it helps us to realize that both of these energy, they are present in ourselves. In other words, we don't need to be either a male or a female to have the opposite energy in us. You may have realized, in fact, that in some occasion and or when dealing with some people, it is more appropriate to use a kind of approach. We could be, let's say, direct, meaning, okay, now I would like you to do this and that. Okay, do it. In other situations or with other people, that may not be appropriate. Maybe with people that they may feel we are too direct, or we tell them what to do, and maybe they have an issue with being told what to do, in which case, to get the same result, which it could be, for example, we want them to do the shopping. Instead of saying, okay, the yang energy would say, oh, can you please buy some bread and butter and eggs, for example. Hello, Paola. This is the yang energy in action. But if we don't want to tell them directly, we could be saying, for example, oh, would you like to have some breakfast tomorrow morning? And they may say, oh yes, I would love to. So I say, well, you know what? There is nothing in the house. Okay? You know, to have breakfast, for me to have breakfast, to cook breakfast for you, I would need to have bread, butter, and milk, or whatever is that we need. Can you see the difference? And the other person will fill the void that we have created, so to speak. They will, by their own accord, probably, maybe not, but if they do it, they will be saying and buying whatever is missing without us telling them directly. Can you see the difference? And that is why yin energy is the feminine one. It's the one that attracts things. The yang energy is the one, the masculine energy is like willpower. So the yin energy, you could visualize it as a spiral. Okay, imagine a spiral that attracts like this. It's more of a round circular kind of energy. The yang energy, it's like a laser. It's more, it pushes out. In fact, normally in families, Mother, it's more welcoming, so to speak. It's the one that it's more understanding in a way with children. She doesn't really tells them off in the way the father does, or she's not really the one that says, get up your ass and you should be doing this or that, or don't cry. Okay, she's the one, oh, come here, you know, allows you to create the space for the child to cry and to be whatever he or she wants to be. While the male, because he embodies more of the male energy, normally is more directive. And is the one that would, I'm generalizing very much, but normally is the one that says, okay, now enough of crying, you know, get over yourself, and now you have to do this, that, and the other. Do I make sense? But guys, participation today is very, very low. I don't know if it's because I'm not reading your comment or because you're just not commenting at all. But something else that I want to pay attention to is that sometimes in life, let's say we lose our job, okay? And we have the tendency of polarizing ourselves in only one energy, meaning the two different polarity of any energy, according to whatever happens in life. It's, hello Maria, whatever happens, we think it's good or it's bad, okay? So let's think that it could be just this is good or this is bad. And according to how we perceive whatever has happened, let's say the loss of a job, let's say we think it's bad, without keeping in mind that it's just one side of the old picture, we could generate in ourselves a kind of negative emotion, and we create some kind of resistance to whatever is happening, and we don't allow the energy to flow. And what happened is that not only, hello Enza, we feel bad about what is happening, but we are going to emotionally vibrate at a negative frequency, and we may well attract something else that we are not happy with, okay? So, how can the knowledge of good and bad being next to each other and actually part of the same thing could help us in this context? It could help us to allow ourselves to become, I like to say, emotionally neutral, which means we can abstain from thinking that whatever is happening, it could be anything in life, it's either good or bad, right or wrong. But we could understand that whatever is happening is just a manifestation of one of the two energies, and it will pass. People that they practice martial arts, they know this very well. Like, for example, I don't know if it's judo or karate or whatever, but lots of martial arts, they use the knowingness of the yin and the yang. They use it very well. In fact, what they do, if somebody is punching them, is attacking them, instead of resisting it, which would create even more energy between the two, what do? They let it punch, and then what they even do, and let's say this is yang energy, right? They even increase the yang energy by taking the arm and moving it forward even more, so that they increase the yang energy until, like the wave, gets to its completion, and then it's boom, and then it vanishes. Then it becomes yin energy. It reverts back. Does it make sense? But they use the natural ebb and flow of these energies. They don't obstaculate them. They don't try to interfere with them. Hey, hello, Fiorenza. How are you? I hope I was clear enough, but Evelyn, she just wrote that you guys are writing comments and I don't see them. So let me just see if I can see them somewhere else. You guys are writing comments and I don't. Oh yes, thank you. I didn't see them. I'm using another phone now. I can see them. Yeah, Mariela said we are masculine and feminine both. Yes, exactly. We are both of them. This is fundamental for us to realize that each one of us, regardless to the fact that we are born in a male or female body, we have always access to these energies. And we can choose when and how to express one or the other. And we can start paying attention when they are at play, even without us choosing it. And when we start noticing them, then we can become aware of them, and then we can calibrate them, modulate them, so to speak. So then we can, using our intuition and our listening skill to ourselves, life circumstances and whatever else, we then learn how to become sensitive and to know when it's time for us to withdraw and become more yin, more feminine, so to speak, to create a space, a void, to allow whatever has to unfold. And when the appropriate moment is showing itself, then we can express yang energy. Because you see, we need yin and we need yin, but we need also yang. For example, but then I read the comments and I want to know your opinion. Let's say when we want to create something, this is totally my opinion, but I think that the mother, and it's not a coincidence that it's the mother of everything is yin energy, is the void, meaning, let's say I want to create something, but I don't know what. I create a space in myself when something, an inspiration comes in, okay? And it's not by chance that female is the giver of life, isn't she? She's the one that gives birth. Okay, so yin energy is the one that creates space for us to, let's say, have a vision or know what we want to do. And maybe even to attract the circumstances, the places, and whatever it is that we need to manifest what we want to manifest. And then the yang energy, it's very useful because that's the masculine energy, the one that pushes the egg, you see. Then first we create a space where everything comes to us, but then with the yang energy, we actually actively work on it. We get up our asses, so to speak, and we start working. Do I make any sense? Anyway, now I'm going to read your comments. Thank you very much, Evelyn, for letting me know, because I couldn't read them. You see, on this phone, in front of me, I can't see any. Natasha, you can see, okay. In each feminine, there is a part of masculine inside. Yes, exactly. Evelyn say, all very interesting. Most of my close friends are males, although my working relationships is helping women. Beautiful, beautiful consideration, Evelyn. Yeah, there's a lot of awareness that you could get from this dynamic. Yes, most of my close friends are males, although my working relationship is helping women. Now, I say this on the top of my head, like everything. You see, I think it and I say it. Mostly because I'm not scared of saying something that could be wrong. You see, I think, Evelyn, you're very much embodying and using appropriately both energy. Both energy you are. You're serving feminine energies, but you're drawing as well. You're very much connected also with masculine energy. So I imagine in you, you have quite a good balance of both of them. And I would say this is demonstrated by the fact that you do relate, you have quite close relationship with either of them. You see, it would be different if you had mostly or only relationship with either female or male. But it's interesting that here you mention both. You got lots of close friends are males, but you work closely with women. So I would say you resonate at a very intimate level from both energies. Thank you for sharing that. And then Evelyn says, okay, so here is an example. When I was married, I dropped so many hints that I wanted a pair of trainers for Christmas. I never said directly what I wanted. But I did say I am a size 5. I wake up on Christmas morning to underwear size 5. Doesn't even exist. And I was a good size 12 in the underwear department. Not a happy wife that morning. That's so beautiful, wonderful example. So yes, so are you telling us that in that particular moment in time, it probably would have been easier for you to be direct, to say, I want a pair of trainers. But that's a beautiful example, yes. So Evelyn, you choose to use yin energy, and it didn't work. Then Mariella is writing, feminine energy is able to create a connection between masculine energy and God energy. Face to the sweeter nature, and so no difference exists. I do agree, Mariella. Feminine energy is probably what connects, yes, masculine energy and God energy. Yes. In fact, a feminine energy, I would dare to say that it's much more in line with nature itself. And this is proven by the fact that females, they go through the periods, right? Which is the menstrual cycle. And so because of that, women normally are more used to, more able to, let's say, respect the ebb and flow of life, because they're more in tune to it. They know about the cycle. They know that, you know, this, and for some women, for example, it's quite painful during the menstrual cycle. There are some days where their mood swings and so on and so forth. So they're more accepting of what is, of life happenings. While men, because for us, we don't have the menstrual cycle, so we are more probably inclined to think, which is a false belief, that we can control, I think, even nature the way we want it. Does it make sense? And in fact, actually, it's apparently in very, very, very ancient times, women had power. The society was matriarchal, and there were less fighting, there were no wars, because women are more accepting, they're less pushing, they're less directing, okay, and let's say commanding the men. So thank you, Mariella, for pointing that out. And Natasha is writing, I don't know if this is linked to our discussion, but I am above all attracted by men, in which I also find a feminine part. I consider feminine part the sensitivity, the capacity of accepting the emotion, the freedom of crying, and so on and so forth. Thank you, Natasha. Yes, this is, I think this is very linked to our emotion, to our subject, Natasha. I think it means that probably in, again, like Evelyn, probably you have a good amount of both energies inside of you. And because of that, you would like a male that embodies both of them. Okay, I give an example. Again, I'm mega generalizing, but a woman that is ultra mega feminine, and maybe that hasn't got very much of masculine energy. She's got lots of yin energy and maybe almost none of yang energy, or very little. Or she has just, she's not aware of it. She may be attracted to a very, very macho man, which is got a very yang energy and is aware of very little yin energy. So it's not very emotional and so on and so forth. So in a way, they very much complement each other. Does it make sense? That doesn't mean that they are gonna, everything is gonna be onky-dory, because it might be or it might not be. Do I make any sense? But you could, but if you think of the couples you see, start paying attention if there is, let's say, a resonance, like if there's the amount of yin, feminine and yang and masculine energy, see if you can see if this is evenly distributed or not. And if it's not distributed in the same way, it could be that either of them is got, which it could be the other way around, by the way. Maybe the female is very more directing, which maybe she's the one that wears the trousers, so to speak. And maybe the male is more submissive, okay? Maybe she has got a little bit more of yang energy, A is more of a yin energy. You see, it could either be even the other way around. Natasha say, I find them really man. Yeah, I understand what you mean, Natasha, yes. Because you're right, either a man who has the feminine sensitivity, then is truly a man. Because of course he's got the masculinity, his physicality is masculine, but he's got that extra something that makes him complete. And I would say it's also the other way around. A lady, a female, she can be very, very ultra feminine and sexy, but that doesn't mean that she's like, that she doesn't know what she wants, or that she's like, she hasn't got any will overall. She can actually be soft and emotional and sensitive, but at the same time, she can be also very sure and assertive. Does it make sense? And again, and that is sexy. Like in a man, sensitivity can be sexy. In a sexy lady, in a feminine lady, assertiveness can also be very sexy. And again, I think it's because there's energetically, the person is complete. And we feel it, don't we? When we, of course, it's very unconscious. It's not crystal clear, but we can feel, can we? If somebody has got very much of just one energy, very much of the other energy, or more balance. Do you know what I mean? In saying that, all of us in different situations, we express one or the other or whatever else. Evelyn say, I wasn't thinking I should have been direct. When you got the underwear instead of shoes. I was thinking, I love that. I wasn't thinking I should have been direct. I was thinking it was stupid. Thank you for clarifying that. Yes. Great one. It was stupid. Yeah, well, he could have guessed, but he didn't, you see? And the way I'm seeing it is like, why didn't he guess? He could have guessed if he had been more direct, you see? But this is funny. This is very much the difference, kind of psychological way of thinking between men and women. It's very true. Yeah. Because women say, and I'm generalizing, but lots of women, they think that the man, he should know. They should like say one word and he should know what she wants, what she doesn't want, what he should be doing, what she means. Hey, it doesn't work that way. It really does. You see what I mean? In fantasy land. No, I'm kidding. It could be like that, but it's not. It's not so black and white. So yeah, we do, men and women, they do think very differently. I like that. And Mariella is writing, yin and yang remind me to the moment when feminine and masculine energies mixed to create a baby, for example. Thank you so much, Mariella. This is it's true and it's profound. You're right. Yes, the moment yin and yang energy blend together, they create life. Absolutely, they create life. There would be no creation if it wasn't because of these two different energies. The two polarities are needed. Otherwise, life just would not exist. Thank you, Mariella. Evelyn said, apparently when women are on their monthly cycle, they think with the emotional part of the brain, the right side, I guess, and should not make big decisions during that time. Thank you for sharing that. So no decision making during the cycle. Which it makes sense also. Hey, hello Angela, great seeing you here. Which it makes sense actually, you know, because in fact, if men and women had their archetypical roles, and if they were sticking to it, women would act in certain way during certain times, and the man would do whatever has to do. Like, for example, female energy, it's not strong physically, but it's very strong emotionally, right? And in fact, women, they nurture life. Let's say during the pregnancy, they nurture life, and they have to be protected by the yang energy, by the male, that provides the house, that provides everything that is needed to sustain her and the life-giving process. Hello, Patricia. Hello, Siobhan. Angela says, the alpha men are not sexy. Yeah, the alpha male are probably the stereotypical ape, like kind of man. Yes, it's probably not very sexy, because like we were saying before, a sexy person probably is the person that can embody different kind of energy. And this is a question for you guys. I'm very curious about this. You know, they say that opposites attract each other. Do you think it's true? Do you think that opposites attract? But I'm asking you that because in reality, like physics says that, and also the law of attraction says that like attracts like. So what is he meant by saying the opposite attracts? And then I'll tell you what I think, but again, it's only my opinion. I want to know your opinion about this. I think that the appropriate term is opposites complement each other more than attract. Because as far as attraction goes, I think, like some of you has written here, at a deep level, the same vibration, the same energy attracts. I give you an example. I think there's a big difference between physical attraction and also intimate, energetic, emotional attraction. And I think there can be physical attraction and not so much vibrational, emotional attraction, or there could be a not much physical attraction, but there can be a lot of emotional, intimate attraction. Or there could, and of course, if there's no physical attraction and no intimate emotional attraction, vibrational attraction, of course, the two people would not be together. But I think that bingo is when there's physical attraction, and that's probably, yes, that's when the opposite attracts, but that's when also the emotional, vibrational attraction is present. And then I think that is when the package, so to speak, is complete. What would you say, guys? Did I make myself clear enough? And this is to say that we could be attracted by someone else, but not really resonating, with them at a intimate, emotional, vibrational level. And vice versa. Angela says, I agree with you. We fall in love with some people similar with what we know in our original family of origin. Thank you, Angela, for underlining that. Yes, that's very important. Yes, that is fundamental, I would say, exactly. Because normally, subconsciously, we tend to look for or reproduce the same dynamics, so to speak, that were present where we grew up in our family. Because we learn love, you know. Each one of us is unique and love in a unique way because we learn how to love in our family. So according to how we learned love and how we loved our parents and who they were, it predetermines the kind of people we will fall in love with. Thank you so much, Angela, for pointing that out. Thank you. And then Angela says, but their opposite is interesting. Yes. When it comes to opposite that attracts, what it could happening is that, okay, you see, each one of us, we have our personality is made of lots of different sub-personalities. In other words, each one of us, and think of yourself, but also people you know. Some people, you can see them come across as being more pleaser, okay? In each one of us, there's a pleaser, a part of us that wants to please other, and his opposite sub-personality would be a selfish person, okay? Then other sub-personality would be, for example, the doer and the being. So some of us may be more drawn of doing, being assertive, and some of us would be like more being. Somebody else could be more outgoing, somebody else would be more introvert, but each one of us has got these opposites in themselves. And normally, according to the one that is more prominent in us, for example, if I have more of a outgoing personality, I may be drawn to somebody which is more introvert, because the introvert resonates with the sub-personality which hidden, so to speak, which is in myself, but it's underneath, it's not on the forefront, and I resonate with her because she's introvert. Do you see what I mean? And in that way, it seems like we are opposite, but we are not really, because in both of us, there is the yin and the yang. There is the same energy, there is both of them. There's the introvert and the extrovert, but each one of us is presenting one to the world more than the other. But the fact that we don't present the one which is hidden to the world, it doesn't mean that that energy is hidden. Do I make sense? So that's why you can see some couples that are very much alike and you think, oh, they're just like each other. And some couple, they seem very different. But even though if they seem different, both of them, they have both qualities. So they do resonate just as much as the one that you would just say, oh yeah, they're just alike. This is to say that ultimately, deep down, I think we are all the same. In other words, each one of us is just like everybody else. So we can all resonate or not with somebody else. But that as well, and I think there's a lot to do with what Angela wrote. It very much depends to what we have been used to. What is the family? What was the family where we came from? How were the parents in there? And consciously or subconsciously, we may be drawn or repelled by people with the same characteristics. You see, but it can be very complex, all this. It's not all black and white. Mariella is writing, it means personally that we have different characters and personalities. And so a woman and a man, for example, complete each other. Yes, exactly. One of them can be more, can have a personality trait, then the other one has got less prominent, and yeah, they complement each other, they complete each other. I give me to you and you do the same. Oh, I give myself to you and you do the same. It's a kind of compensations. Karma, yes. Yeah, it is. It's almost like a puzzle. It's almost like a completion. And then again, that's like the yin and the yang energy in action. You see, yin energy, the feminine, and a yang energy is masculine. One creates a void, yin, and yang gets into it. And that's the complementing each other. You see, if they were both like this, there's no complementing. If they were both like this, as well, there's no contact. But if they're like this, yes. And that's how two different energy, yin and yang, when they are fused together, they give birth to something else. They give birth to life. Natasha says, I have had a story with a man normally attracted by sport women. I'm not a sport woman, but we meet each other as if we had lived always together. It was incredible. We were linked by mind, by emotion. We were absolutely the same person. And he started to find beautiful, also fat girls as me. Thank you so much, Natasha, for sharing this. From what you have written, it seems that your bond, what resonated between you, was something that was transcending physicality. There was an intimate, emotional resonance, and that what brought you together. And it's interesting that you say that it's as if you always live together. You see? Yeah, the strong vibrational, energetic, emotional bonds, they're incredible. It seems like you know the person, you've been known the person forever. Something that would not happen if the attraction is only physical. It's a completely different story. Thank you so much for sharing. Hey, hello, Chiara. Hello, welcome. Natasha say, for me, it was sexy, completely sexy. Ah, wonderful. Yes. Yeah, you see, it's interesting you say that. Here again, I'm generalizing, but normally what women find sexy when men are sensitive, don't you? And men, they can, of course, find sexy a lady because she's sensitive. But normally, sexy for a man is more regard to physicality and sex in itself, right? I mean, it's not a coincidence, I don't think that it's, we all know that there's a saying that goes, you know, where that man thinks with their penis. But there's a truth in it, isn't there? Because men are, in a way, I'm generalizing, but generalizing, men are more superficial, meaning they're more attracted to, but I'd like to add something, superficial, but in the moment, you know, at the same time, meaning the man is more, okay, I like you, or I'm excited by you, I get excited, and that's it, let's do it, let's go to bed, okay? The women, again, not all of them, but some of them, they need, before they allow themselves to be with a man, even intimately, they need a little bit more time, a little bit more of an emotional involvement. Okay, but tell me if I'm correct. Hello, Evelyn.
Hello, I got the last few seconds on your favorite topic.
Wonderful. Yeah. You couldn't stay off it, could you? That was the only way to put you on, to be honest, to get right on it. Fantastic.
That was a very good topic tonight. I enjoyed that, Luca.
Yes, well, it's almost as if we had sex. So
I know, I think I am with child.
No, but by the way, tell us about what you are doing. If I'm not mistaken, the last book you are writing, which is the one that hasn't come out yet, right? You are dedicated to quite a bit of it to openly talk about sex from a women perspective, from a yin perspective, or not?
Yes.
Right.
And actually, it's the longest chapter. It's going to take me forever writing this, because one of the lines I wrote in this today is that Esther Hicks, do you know Esther Hicks, that channels Abraham?
Oh yeah, the Lord. Yes, law of
So
attraction.
I remember there was an interview I'd done with her at one stage where she was channeling Abraham. And the thing is that the reply that came back is that you put so much focus on the physical,
Yeah.
rather than the non-physical.
Yeah.
Do you know? So that's what I said. Hands up, how many people have actually experienced a relationship beyond the physical? And that doesn't mean, I said, zoning out, wishing you were somewhere else, wishing you were somebody else. It just
Good one.
But beyond that, so I want to bring the energy. Yes, the word sex will attract people to it, but that connection, and you have it so right, because the men say it one way and the women hear it another way. The women say it one way and the men hear it. So connection and communication, and hopefully, I would love when people read that to go beyond the form to the non-physical.
Thank you. Yeah, that is the ultimate, isn't it? When you have that kind of feeling, like Natasha was saying, that two people meet and they really feel like they know each other. Which, by the way, Natasha, she's writing. Normally, we are too complicated. Women. You men are more simple. Yeah, I agree. I find it easier to talk with you and understand you. Well, I'm generalizing, of course. But I think Evelyn would agree with it. I can see already you're saying yes.
Oh yeah, I think that's what my draw was to men. If there was a circle of
Yes.
men and a circle of women, but I think I just didn't get to know women. Now
Right.
that I have a lot of women that I work with, we have more in common than that, and we just fear their judgment because women have judged, and we just get into silly stuff. Men
Yes.
have an argument, and it's done. It's forgot about.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the that's the good bit. But it's nice to have I'm getting to know women more. I think that's what it is. I've always kept myself in the male end. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Evelyn. I just want to read, because I like to read them all, the last comment from Mariella. Mental attraction between a man and a woman is a very strong feeling. It never ends. Your thoughts are even if they don't see each other. Beautiful. Thank you. Evelyn, thank you so much for coming on and for blessing us with your
Well,
wisdom.
I had to have the
Thank you.
climax with my good friend.
Yes, we had to.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ciao, everyone.